welcome to the Nasboys podcast. Now, did you know that the first time NASCAR ever went to Las Vegas was actually a mile dirt track called Las Vegas Park Speedway in 1955? The race was won by Norm Nelson, and there were two big wrecks in the race. So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host, Christian, aka Savage NASCAR.
What it do, Nasboys crew? I hope y'all have had a good week. And another thing to add on, Norm Nelson led almost the entirety of that race. He led 106 to 111 laps, and it was a dirt track. So obviously there was a big margin of victory. It was 1955. Nothing surprised there, but I did not know about that. That's pretty cool. That I didn't even know that they went out west back in 1950 for NASCAR. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say about Charlotte and a lot of people I knew were at Charlotte for this race weekend. I actually met a couple people that actually came up here for the Charlotte race weekend, and yeah, it was pretty cool to meet those people. One of those being Douglas, and there's some other people that I'm friends with online that were up here for the Charlotte race weekend. I hope y'all did enjoy the races, but Mike, let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, we shall. I actually saw a customer at my job going up to the race from Maryland. So
Huh.
that's pretty exciting. I saw him wearing a Chase Elliott shirt, complimented him on it. But anyway, let's get down to business. We're going to talk about this weekend's elimination races for the Cup race and the Xfinity race. Obviously ending their respective rounds. We're going to kick things off with the Cup Series race. Do you want to get started with it, or do you want me to start?
Honestly, there was a lot of different shifts positions because the beginning of the race it was just completely dominated by Tyler Reddick, who led 27 of the 109 laps starting from the pole, and Bubba Wallace was up there too. There was some drivers like Keselowski and Bush that were really far back, and I was like, are they ever going to get to the front? Same thing with Ross Chastain. I was like, are they ever going to get to the front? But Chase Elliott was who we predicted to win, and he started off really strong. He ended up leading 15 laps, but towards the end, he sort of wasn't really a factor. He had to work his way up through some traffic. But man, I thought the Roval was decent this year. It's definitely a fun race every year to have it at the Charmar Speedway, but um, I'm just not a huge fan of the Roval, but I think it's one of the best road courses on the schedule, to be honest. But looking at the race, there's definitely some momentum shifts. That one caution with Andy Lally bringing out the caution where he stopped on the track, and he ended up going trying to go backwards to go to pit road or the garage area and that stop again. That was a big momentum shift too, because that was a much needed caution for some of those guys like Ty Gibbs and Logano, Bush. William Byron also that would benefited off that caution as well. But if I were to be honest, I knew AJ was going to be good this weekend, or at least at the Roval because he's won here before with the Xfinity series. But dude, I should have picked him this week instead of last week, Mike. What was I thinking?
I thought the race was pretty solid. I agree with you. The lead changed hands quite a few times every stage. Like we saw Chase Elliott, he pretty much dominated the second stage. Reddick was really dominant. I don't really know what happened to him. I think it was just bad pit strategy and track position that really kept him out from winning the race. And I think he finished in the top five, if I'm not mistaken. I got to look at the results again. But yeah, AJ Allmendinger, I'm not shocked that he won it. I probably should have picked him as well, but I thought Chase would have been a safer bet with how AJ's speed has been a little bit. But he runs really well on the Roval for sure. Going into a couple of more moments, Brad Keselowski, he had a really crappy day when he didn't need to have a crappy day. I know he got
Yeah,
a penalty for putting the corner, which good call. I don't know why he ran the corner like that. And on the broadcast, they said he barely did it. No, it was obvious that he completely skipped the chicane. Let's see. Denny Hamlin had a rough day as well. He was decent, and then he got into a couple of incidents. Like I believe he spun out once when trying to think. I know Eric Jones spun out twice, which one I'll get
Yeah.
into in a minute. But I do remember Hamlin spun out, and then another time he spun out by just simply losing control in the chicane, which ended up breaking his toe link. If you haven't seen that one, here it is.
Caution is out, and Denny Hamlin, because the points he earned in stage 1 and stage 2 have guaranteed him a spot in the round of 8, but it looks like his day is definitely not getting any easier.
Blaney gets in, Hamlin gets in really deep, loses control, makes contact, spins. Here comes the 42 of Rockefeller. Boom, right there in the right rear, and that's what damages the 11 car. See, Denny's out of control. That contact, that's where the damage.
There were some other big wrecks in the race, such as Daniel Suarez. He ended up wrecking Austin Cindric. Here's that.
Oh, big contact there. Cindric's going to go around.
Cindric was having a good day. Bubba Wallace
Missed the chicane. He came to a stop.
Keep digging straight. There you go.
That is a lot of spots he lost.
And I believe Ross Chastain was also involved in it too. No, not Ross Chastain. It was Bubba Wallace.
Yeah.
He was involved in that. Bubba Wallace had a pretty good day, but it wasn't enough to keep him into the next round. I'm trying to think of what else happened in this race. Oh yeah, Josh Bilicki and Corey LaJoy, they got into an incident.
78 goes around. We saw the 9 of Chase Elliott. He was about ready to come to pit road. Pit road is now going to be closed because the caution has come out, and Chase Elliott crossed the start-finish line with 2 laps to go on the stage.
Well, Chase was coming to pit road, but you saw him dive back onto the racetrack just as we were returning, and that's because pit road closed. We saw that happen to Kevin Harvick a few weeks ago. You know, you can't pit on a closed pit road, and this is going to be an awful break for Chase Elliott. He's going to lose some track position. Let's see what happened to the 78.
Josh Bilicki just coming off of pit road, and just 7-car Corey LaJoy there. I don't know if Josh just didn't expect him to be there. Big contact, car gets into the wall.
Looked like Corey maybe got in a little hot and got into him.
I think he was passing the 78, and now let's see the 9. He's allowed to hit this box, so he's good. He's definitely fine. He actually could drive over that box and return to the track with no penalty. So Chase was trying to run his.
Which a lot of people were clowning on Corey LaJoy. I mean, I tried to tell y'all Corey LaJoy is an overrated driver. I've been saying this for a while, but he is. I mean, he's had good runs, yes, but I think people overhype him a lot. It's kind of like Matt DiBenedetto, except way worse.
Wow, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, to be honest, looking at that wreck, I feel bad for Bilicki because he was running in the top 12. I was like, this is actually a good race for him, and then he gets wiped out by LaJoy. He just went in the corner and took him out. Yeah, maybe Bilicki went down a little bit, but at the same time, LaJoy just sitting in there with like 50 to go and took him out.
Yeah.
So
LaJoy came in way too hot.
Yeah,
LaJoy came too hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mistake for sure.
I guess another incident I want to mention is the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. fire. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
And problems for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Fire underneath the right front.
Yeah, big fire underneath the right side of this car. Let's get Ricky out of that thing. I'm full of smoke.
Yeah, we're not seeing him come out of the car yet, but that thing, there he is.
There you go. He's getting out.
Look at all the fire inside the car.
Flames inside of the car as Stenhouse Jr. is out now.
It just seemed like he was driving down the track normally, and the car just ended up catching on fire. They were saying it had something to do with the rocker panel, but what could have possibly happened? I think he had an incident or two, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. It's weird. NASCAR's got to look at that. There's no reason for these cars to be catching on fire like that.
I remember what happened last year with Harvick at Darlington when that car
right,
caught
but
fire.
like I'm saying, there's no reason for these cars to still be on fire like that. Like what?
It's not every week though. It's just like it's every once in a while. I don't think it's a huge deal, but
well, they should still look into it. We didn't have that many fires for no reason with the Gen 6.
Well, these cars are different, okay? They're more based off technology. And as much as we want to trust technology, technology isn't always good.
Right. Which I agree with, and they gotta perfect that, especially for the future gens, because I know once we get to like Gen 8, Gen 9, they're gonna make it more technological. The cars will probably even be hybrid. Who knows? But yeah,
Well,
congrats to AJ. Super cool to see him win.
yeah, I mean, he led the most laps too. I believe he led 46 of the 109 laps. And you know, I don't really have anything else to add, but I thought Bubba Wallace had definitely a chance to make the next round there, considering how well he started the race. But here's what is: Truex Jr. did not have a great day. He still got in. Kyle Busch basically needed the win to get in, and then
Yeah.
there's Chastain and Keselowski. Chastain, he was so far back all day. I was like, there's no way he's gonna make next round. He ended up making up some spots, but it didn't matter. Then
Yeah.
Keselowski, I knew once he got to the Roval, he was like 2 above the cut line. I knew he didn't have a chance. But
Right.
it is
Yeah, I figured.
interesting to see Chris Buescher make the next round, though.
Yeah. I figured Kyle wasn't going to make it either, but he got close a few times. I saw him leading some laps. He was battling with AJ a little bit with like 40 to go. He
Yeah,
ended up finishing third. Another driver I want to mention, Ty Gibbs, he was running up in the top 5, top 10 most of the day. So
yeah.
that's pretty cool to see him develop. And I heard on the broadcast, I think Steve Letarte said that he will be a playoff contender next year. I'm not gonna lie, I agree with that. I think Ty Gibbs will make the playoffs next season.
Huh.
Let's see. Reddick ended up finishing sixth, like I mentioned. Busher finished seventh, like you were talking about. Bowman actually finished eighth. Chase Elliott finished ninth, and Chastain in 10th to round out the top 10. But taking a look at what you guys had to say, 33% said great, 50% said good, 17% said message okay, nobody said bad. No thoughts? Driver of the day, AJ Allmendinger. I think I got to agree, AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much a given, to be honest. He led the most laps. I mean, who else could we give it to? I mean, he's really good at road courses. It's his third win of his career too, I believe. So yeah,
Your cup win of his career, yeah. I guess looking at the playoffs real quick, you guys will probably expect it. William Byron's in first. Martin Truex Jr. is in second. Denny Hamlin is third. Larson is fourth. Busher is fifth, which, yeah, a little surprised Busher made it. I probably should have picked him when we were doing the playoff prediction video, but the reason why I didn't is because I honestly did not know how far his run was going to go. And it's
yeah,
even though he hasn't won in a few races, it still seems like the streak of like having solid runs is still going on. And it propelled him enough to be in this round. So I regret not picking Busher to go to the round of 8. Bell is in 6th, Reddick is in 7th, and Ryan Blaney is in 8th. So this will be interesting to see the next round with Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville. Las Vegas
yeah.
coming up next weekend, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But for now,
Well,
go
I
ahead.
do want to mention real quick of our fantasy lineups. I thought I had a good fantasy lineup. I'm like, why am I last behind you? But it turns out Suarez, despite having a good start of the race, ended up, he ended up wrecking, and I should have put him in the garage, and I didn't. I had Logano in the garage instead. So I had Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, AJ, Suarez, and Elliott as my starters, and I had Logano in the garage. But I had swapped Logano out early in the race. I actually had Suarez in the garage to start the race, and then I moved him once Suarez started out the race well. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know what was going on with my brain there, but it is what it is.
I
I thought
had
I had a good lineup. Who do you have?
I had Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Michael McDowell, AJ Allmendinger, and I really regret this pick, Chase Briscoe.
Oh,
Um, I thought Chase Briscoe, the reason why I picked him is I thought he's had kind of a reputation for being a good road racer. And I figured I'd just use him because I hadn't used him in a while. And
yeah.
he really failed for me. He was in the back. He only got 9 points total and 9 points for where he placed.
Hmm.
Well, that's not good. I should have picked there's somebody I wanted to pick. I forgot who it was, but I should have picked him. Let's see. You finished in 4th and I finished in 6th. And I probably would have gotten a top 5 if it wasn't for Chase Briscoe. So thanks, Chase. Yeah, now I guess we can go into the Xfinity race. I watched pretty much most of it. It was a solid race. Sam Mayer, I know he won the race. Pretty cool to see him. I should have picked him instead of Connor Mozak. I don't know why. I was thinking I should have picked
Connor Mozak. That's still what I'm wondering.
I don't know why I picked
It was like the Timmy Hill pick I had that one time where y'all clapped.
No, it wasn't that bad. No. But yeah, I should have picked Sam Mayer instead of Connor. I had a feeling I should have, but I didn't because I'm a dummy. Let's see. Trying to think of what happened in this race. Parker Kligerman, he was trying really hard to get in the next round. Same with Daniel Hemrick. They had an interesting 3-wide finish with Kaz Gralla.
Yeah, that was cool.
From Kaz Gralla, he can't not make that pass. Now Sam Mayer through the final turns here on the big track. Hemrick running in 7th, but might not be able to make it on points. Creed in a great position. 3 wins, 3 career wins, and the most important one, Sam Mayer wins his way to the round of 8.
Oh, can the 10 get both of them? Oh, my goodness. That was so close between the 48, the 26, and the 10.
1/1000th of a second. That was a very close margin. And Kaz Gralla, they said, got him by 1,000th of a second, but some of the videos I've seen, it looked like Kilgerman got him. So
yeah,
that's still pretty cool to have a finish that close.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Kaz beat him, but Daniel Hemrick, I respect him for trying, but he was just a little too late when because Kaz bumped into what's his face, Kligerman. Why did I say what's his face? He bumped into him in the chicane, and it was just a little too late for Hemrick. I think he would have caught him if there was like 1 or 2 more laps in the race, but just because he bumped him in that final chicane, that really sealed the deal, and Hemrick just couldn't catch up. He tried all he could. I think he's out. Sheldon Creed made it in, and he would have had the tiebreaker over Sheldon Creed. We saw Josh Berry. He was running decent at the beginning of the race. I know he was in 2nd at one point, but then he ended up spinning out, and now he's eliminated from the playoffs. I think Allgaier wrecked. I'm not.
Oh, the 27's missing the corner.
And they slam into the wall. It's happened before. We see it again. Allgaier into the wall, and the caution comes out.
So this 27 has a bad restart, just on the old tires, spinning rear tires. He sails it down into turn 1. He's gone right here. Before he ever gets to the apex of the corner, the back of the car steps out. He has to correct it to try to save the car, and that's going to take him right into the door of the 7 of Allgaier. Man, hard impact.
Not entirely sure. Can't remember everything from the race.
Yeah.
But I do remember it being a solid race.
Well, Allgaier finished next to last. And, Jeff Burton, another flat driver, finished 34th, a lap down. But everyone else, I'm surprised 33 cars finished on the lead lap for or Xfinity Roval race. That still is a little bit mind-blowing. But some other drivers I want to mention real quick. Before that, I just want to say, why did Sam Mayer in his interview say, I'm like the Allmendinger 2.0 on road courses? He won 2 races, I believe. And not only
3
that,
races.
AJ won the last 4 Xfinity races at the Roval. And he wasn't eligible this year because he's a Cup driver, and they're not allowed to race in the Xfinity Series at this point in the season now.
Right.
So that's the only reason why AJ didn't win. So I don't know what Mayer's got going. He literally has. I like confidence, but that's just crazy confidence.
I didn't see too much of a problem with it. I think he mainly said it because it's true. He's been running well on the road courses. All 3 of his wins are on the road courses. So I think that's more what he meant. I don't think he meant it as a shot at AJ. I just think that, or trying to make himself sound arrogant.
I'm just saying it was kind of weird. Bro, you're nothing compared to AJ on the road course.
It was a little weird, but I can see where he's coming from. So
I mean, if we're being honest, the Mayor was the race at Road America in the Cup Series. He finished 20th.
probably yes, or
I'm
like
just being
anywhere.
real.
Let's be real. If he were to race anywhere in the Cup Series, he would probably finish 20th.
Well,
As of
it's
at
much
this point
different
of his career.
competition, though. That's the only thing. But then again, I'm not trying to make a shot at Mayer. I'm just saying I was confused by his post-race statement. But yeah, some other drivers I want to mention. Chandler Smith, he finished 12th. I think didn't I pick Chandler Smith to
Yeah,
win?
you did.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's a great pick. But at least finished top 12. Let's see. John Hunter Nemechek finished 8th, and he's been dominating this year. Cole Custer, he did pretty well in this race, but came up short. Ryan Sieg was another driver that finished in the top 15. He was 13th. So that's all really got out. If I were to say of the races this weekend, I'd give the Cup race like a 6.5 out of 10, and I'd give the Xfinity race about a 5 out of 10.
I think I gotta agree with your ratings. So taking a look at what you guys had to say. 0% said great, 100% said good. You guys pretty much know the deal when 100% says that. No thoughts, no driver of the day. I will give it to Sam Mayer. He practically dominated.
Same. So the leaders for both of the drivers that won both the races get driver of the day. That makes sense to me. Now, all right? So is the Xfinity race series? I'm pretty sure they're racing at Las Vegas this next coming weekend. With the
Indeed,
Cup
they are.
Series. Yeah, and the Truck Series, as you mentioned, is at Homestead next. So
For some reason, they get 2 weeks off. Yes. So for the Xfinity playoff standings, we have John Hunter Nemechek. He's in first, obviously. Austin Hill is second. Allgaier is third. Mayer is fourth. Cole Custer is fifth. Chandler Smith is sixth. Sheldon Creed is seventh. And Sammy Smith is eighth. And then the people that got eliminated are Daniel Hemrick, Parker Kligerman, Josh Berry, and Jeff Burton.
yeah,
I personally thought that Barry was going to make it to the next round, but like I mentioned, he spun out, and that pretty much sealed the deal. Everybody else not surprised about it all.
yeah.
So I guess we can talk about some news because there's been a lot of news recently in the NASCAR community, considering that this is the time for silly season. The biggest news topic is that iRacing is officially going to be the next developer of the new NASCAR console game. And even though I'm not a big console player, I'm still excited to see this game. I think that iRacing has a lot of the physics down. They've been developing the simulator for 20 something years, and they've done a really good job from what it seems like. So I'm interested to see what iRacing can do. And I'm pretty confident that we'll have a good game. But my main concern, it's kind of a stupid concern, but the reason why I'm concerned about it is because I'm just so confident that the iRacing team will develop a good game. I want to see the extras. What else do they have in store? Because I think Motorsport Games did a good job with the pre-race stuff. They did a good job with having a detailed garage area. They had a good job with having driver models, even though they look crappy, but I like the idea of driver models. So if I were to think of extras, I'd like to see paint booth where you could make your paint schemes like the Technics games had. I would like to see driver interviews. I would like to see a more detailed career mode where you have certain scenarios, like in 2K, for example, with the new generation of games, they have a full-fledged story mode. I would love to see a NASCAR game have a story mode.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was talking about this with Douglas the other day. We were like, he was super excited, and I'll blame him. A lot of people were happy to see iRacing become become the developer of this game. And it may not, there's not been any new game this year, but it makes sense because it takes time to develop these things, and it takes a lot of work. So props to the people who make the video games. I mean, I've seen what they've done with the world. I've seen what they've done with the World of Outlaws game, and I've seen what they've done with other games as well. So I'm sure that they will do a great job with this one. As much as I feel like the NASCAR fans feel a little too entitled and they make a big deal like they deserve to have the greatest game on earth, sort of thing. But at the same time, iRacing does a great job, and I don't play iRacing. I don't play video games much anymore, but I think that it'll be fun. I do think that it would be cool to have a more detailed career mode, as you mentioned, and I heard someone tweet. I'm pretty sure someone tweeted. I saw the other day. That it'd be interesting if they went from different decades. So you start a career in like a different decade, and it goes from the 70s to 80s to the 90s. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if it's possible, but that would be pretty cool. And then what else do you have to add?
I did not hear about that. That's the first time I've heard about it. Sounds like a cool idea, but I doubt it's possible. But we could see.
I
I mean,
mean, it's yeah,
you pretty much
75
summed it up.
anniversary. Why don't they just it'd be interesting. They just let you race different like years instead of just the current
Right.
year. That would be quite interesting, but it would take a while to make that.
It would, yeah. But the game is set to come out in 2025. I believe they're also making like a mobile version. I saw NASCAR's trying to get a mobile game. I don't know what that means exactly. If they're gonna make like an actual racing game with the NASCAR license, or if they're gonna just slap their name on something like that weird arcade style game that they dropped this year.
Huh.
Let's see. What's some other news? We got Haley Deegan. She's officially making her move to the Xfinity Series. She is going to be with AM Racing in the 15 car, I believe, which
Yeah.
I think it's a solid move because Deegan is not really doing that much in the trucks. And usually I would probably say this is stupid, but I feel like there's way more competition in the Xfinity series, and I feel like there's more time for her to develop. Whereas in the truck series, I feel like it's mostly a bunch of kids with money and they just end up
Oh.
getting there and like racing really aggressive. Whereas Xfinity series, I feel like, yeah, you have your people with money, but you also have true racers in the series. So I'm interested to see how she'll run. I think both times she's been in the Xfinity series, she's gotten at least the top 15. So I could see her doing that. I don't really see her winning races, especially in the first season, but I was talking about this with somebody and he mentioned that she could potentially get a win on a plate track within the next like 2 years, which I could see.
I think that the move can be beneficial for her, in a way because she runs better in those type of cars in the truck series. Trucks are different. And I've heard plenty of people say, with her running in the K&N Pro Series, those cars are a little similar, but the Xfinity Series is definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge. For her, I think that she could run well, but I don't think I'll be honest with you, Mike. I don't know if she's gonna win though. Like, I'll be honest with you. As much as I'd like to see her win, I just don't know if it's gonna happen. I know a lot of people were happy to see her go to the Xfinity series and props to her. I will say having the announcement for the cars at the Hall of Fame is definitely really interesting to say the least. I wonder why they had the announcement there and everything. I've been noticing, the Hall of Fame, they've been having like a car display. I wouldn't say car displays, but like yeah,
All the announcements.
yeah, like a lot of the car announcements have been at the Hall of Fame lately
Right.
more than usual. Which is definitely I don't mind. They have the iRacing, don't they have the iRacing championship? This is the Hall of Fame too or something? I think I've seen plenty
They
of those.
might do it.
Yeah,
I'm not
I've
entirely
seen
sure.
them have iRacing events there, and you know, I will say, I don't, I there isn't really much else to say about this issue, but there was one interesting thing. Dean Thompson tweeted out once the news came out that he tweeted out Hallelujah, and a lot of people made a big deal with that because obviously Dean Thompson and her had run-ins this year in the truck series, and then Chase Cambry, Deegan's boyfriend, tweeted out a screenshot of a DM that he sent him about wanting to end a beef with Haley. So a lot of people made a big deal about that on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that, but
No.
yeah, Dean Thompson is a lot of people were clowning on him and were saying a bunch of crazy stuff about him after
If
that one.
you Yeah, if you have that, can I see it? I need to read that.
Yeah, but Chase is out here leaking DMs like crazy, bro. Like he just doesn't care. But that son, I feel like he should have just kept private. But that's just my deal. That's what I believe.
that is crazy. I mean, I'm not saying Dean Thompson's wrong, but like, God, I don't know what to say about that. I gotta read the DMs for more context. But I
Maybe
guess
he
the
wanted to
last
talk to, I don't, I think he like it. Some of the people were like, why don't you just talk to her instead of instead of like texting her boyfriend? But at the same time, like, I don't think Dean Thompson did it in a malicious way. I think he
no.
just wanted to, talk to him first in a way after already
Yeah,
trying to talk to her and it didn't work the first time.
right.
So that's what I think.
I I consider that somewhat respectful because you don't want to message a girl with a boyfriend. This is becoming a life podcast here, folks. You don't want to message a girl with a boyfriend
And
like
her
that
use that
kind of
against
thing.
you.
So I respect
Yeah.
him for at least trying to go through Chase first before talking to Haley, like to just make sure, hey, is it okay if I talk to her? Or I don't know if he tried to DM her first and she didn't reply, so he's trying the boyfriend. But
But I'm
that could
saying
also
like,
wait.
yeah,
Go ahead.
good.
I was gonna
I
say
would,
that could also wait at the track too.
mhm. I was just like, Dean, you could literally, like, I'm sure he probably approached her in person first. That's what I was saying. Like, if it didn't work in person, then obviously text, because, um, yeah, I agree. Like, you should, I want to DM her. I would just try to talk to her in person. Be a man,
Right.
talk in person. All
Right.
right. So,
I guess the last news topic we could talk about is I heard a rumor that Riley Herbst might be going to Rick Ware, which I think that's kind of a smart move with how he raced on the truck, or not the truck, but the cup races he drove this year. I thought he
yeah.
did pretty solid. And Rick Ware, I feel like they're trying to develop. They have Justin Haley now, obviously. So I feel like if you add Riley Herbst too and try to work with the RFK Alliance, they they could do something. Maybe not be a powerhouse, but now with decent equipment, they could do something. And Riley Herbst and Justin Haley, I feel like are two drivers that could get them to do something.
If someone were to tell me in 2024 that there would be two Rick Beard racing cars, I'd be shocked. But at the same time, I hope they have success, but I just don't know how well they're going to run with two cars. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, they're okay, like in some tracks, like super speedways, but there's some of those tracks going to be in the 30s. I'm just being real.
Right. Nah, I agree with that. But I guess getting into our picks this weekend for Las Vegas for the Xfinity race, I think it'll be a solid race. Not really too sure what else to add about it. I think it'll just be a typical mile and a half solid Xfinity race. I'm gonna say Josh Berry wins.
That's a good pick because, Junior Motorsports has been pretty decent on the mile and a half tracks recently and throughout the last couple of years. But, um, I was thinking about picking like Sheldon Creed, but now I'm thinking about it. No, I was thinking about picking Justin Allgaier, but he's wrecked in a lot of the last mile and a half mile tracks lately. So for me, it's either going to be between Herbst, Hunter Nemechek, and Austin Hill. But I'm going to go with Nemechek to win this race.
Okay.
But, I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy Smith ran well either.
Yeah, Sammy Smith is a solid pick. And for the cup race, I think that it will be decent. I'm not saying it's gonna be great, not saying it's gonna be good. It'll just be decent. I think that we'll see some three wide racing, but we'll also see the field spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
I am going to say William Byron wins this race.
Mm. If I'm correct, I think I either had William Byron or Kyle Larson winning this race in the playoff prediction video. We could go back and check, but if it's not them, I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Tyler Reddick or Bubba Wallace might have a chance too.
Yeah. And so with that, that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Yeah.